Pure 21 podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Suzanne Murray, and we are excited. We're talking about caffeine, the good, bad, and the ugly. Registered Dietitian Melanie Lipps, she's been in this business for over 20 years, is here with us again. Melanie, hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great because I got my coffee in front of me.
I was going to ask, you caffeinated? You're ready to go?
I'm totally caffeinated. You got your water, of course, because you're better.
I don't do caffeine.
You don't do it at all.
I don't do any caffeine.
Did you ever?
No, never.
Whoa. Okay, then why are we doing this? You're just going to make me feel like SHIT here. Okay.
It's not a bad thing, but it's in moderation, right? Like,
yes.
My body doesn't handle it well, and I think I shock people when I say that all the time. Like,
yeah.
If they could see your face right now, I'm used to it.
I was shocked. I am shocked.
And
yes.
I have 4 kids, and I still don't do caffeine.
Oh my gosh, everybody, throw up the hand signs for you. That's amazing. I'm really impressed. It took the pandemic for me to drink black coffee. I was always putting like a little tiny bit of cream, and then I'm like, you know what? I got to figure this out. If I'm going to be, I got to rid myself of this bad habit.
You're not the only one, and most people don't put in a tiny bit. You have more people that don't even know what the color of the coffee is.
I swear to God, my mom's coffee is like a dessert. It's like a chocolate sundae.
500 calories later, you have your cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. There's your meal. All right. Okay, let's get right into it. Caffeine, the good, bad, the ugly. So on this program, on Pure 21, on the challenge, basically you're stripping out any soda, any highly caffeinated, well, any like fancy coffees, any lattes, to come down to black coffee and tea. And water. Like those are your drinks of choice on this 21-day reset. So a lot of people are saying, well, this is affecting me because I'm getting headaches, I'm tired, I'm irritable. That's normal, right? When you cut out, if you're drinking a Diet Coke, a Mountain Dew, and a latte a day, what happens when you just cut it off?
Headache, 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 right? It is something that happens because your body's used to all that caffeine. It has an addictive property to it.
Right.
Yes, it's going to happen, but that is going to subside. I think the easier way, in the program, you don't really have the choice to just slowly cut back.
Right.
Necessarily, you can go to the coffee though, and that's okay, but you can still add a little bit to that.
Okay.
Right? Like you can add in that splash of almond milk. You could add in, you have that whey protein. That can be added in.
And if you put in the vanilla, it could be a little vanilla coffee.
Right. You could even get fancy and blend it, right? And then you have like a Frappuccino type of a drink as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, you could even get more fancy and add in your fruit and get a little more flavor to it as well, because that's going to be a natural occurring sweetness. And then stevia is another thing that is allowed on the program that you can't add into your coffee.
Stevia in the coffee, a little almond milk. That will go a long way.
It really would, and I think people could then slowly start cutting back if you need to do it that way. If you're just used to that 1 cup in the morning, try to avoid getting it later in the day, but it's not something you have to completely get rid of. I just think people don't realize that you're going to have those side effects. They do subside within a few days, but you just have to think, I used to do a ton of coffee or a ton of caffeine throughout the day. Of course, you're going to have side effects.
Right. And there's nothing that's really going to get rid of your caffeine. You're just kind of, it's like you're breaking up.
Right.
It's a breakup. It's going to hurt a little bit, but then we're going to be good.
Right. You're gonna bounce back better than ever.
Yeah, you're gonna be better.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, so tell me scientifically, how does caffeine work?
So it's a natural stimulant, right? It's gonna help you stay alert. It stimulates your central nervous system.
Okay.
To give you that boost of energy, to make you feel more awake, right? It's not necessarily that it's bad, but there is such a thing. It can be too much of that good thing. And
how much is too much?
You really need to limit probably to like 2 cups a day.
Okay.
Right.
So what would like an average, well, because you've seen all those things, especially on Instagram. If you guys follow all these like health accounts, they'll do like how many milligrams of coffee a Starbucks has versus like what you make at home. There is differing amounts of caffeine in different coffees.
And energy drinks and everything that you have. And you're really, based on the USDA, right, the dietary allowance, 400 milligrams, 2 to 4 cups, again, depending on the strength.
Okay.
An easy way to kind of make that go a little bit longer is to do a half calf, right? You could do decaf and regular.
Oh, that's a good
together.
idea. Yeah. If it's kind of like a clutch for you, if you like having that warm substance. I mean, green tea, it's low caffeination, right?
Yes. You still are going to get some caffeine, but I don't think there's even other options that are decaf, right?
Right.
You can do decaf tea, and some of them, they come in fruit flavor, so you're going to get a better taste.
And there's some that have like antioxidants. I love tea after like a noon time.
You still could do that green tea in the morning. You could probably break that habit and do some regular tea in the morning as well. You still
Okay,
get
like
a little
some
bit of caffeine.
breakfast tea?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So 400 USDA says 400 is like the top. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Well, that's good. And like a Diet Coke's like what, 55, 60 milligrams?
Yes, and I think the big
Okay.
thing too is when it gets into your system, you drink that caffeine and it within the hours in your system, it reaches at peak level and you'll feel that effect for 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
Right? So if you drink that coffee, you're good for 4 to 6 hours right throughout the day.
What is it about soda that literally makes you have a soda and then you want to have a snack? What is that? Is it anything or is it just me?
That might just be you. I was thinking you were going to go where that addiction is there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people pair that together, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're having a beer with pretzels,
Right,
right? Because
right.
you're doing those things together. It's just something you're used to doing.
Okay. Well, caffeine is addictive,
Yes,
right?
it is. It definitely is. It increases the alertness in our brain. It takes 30 to 60 minutes to really get that concentration like into our brain, but it has, again, that varying lasting time. And the studies will show you anywhere from 3 to 9 hours of how it can last.
Okay. And it's not all good. I mean, yeah, it can make us more alert, but it also has some, we got to talk about the negative side effects of caffeine as well. So what are some of the negative things, just so people are aware? Does it affect blood pressure?
It does. And I think one that you do know more about is headaches. So when we cut it out, you're going to get that headaches. It does affect our blood pressure, and it really could interact with medication. And that is not something people think about as often as well. You know,
So what happens?
Well, the medication isn't going to work, right? It's going to kind of break it down a little bit more, right? It's not going to let you have that medication absorb as it should.
Oh.
So that's one thing. Another thing, it also, the caffeine will increase the release of acid in your stomach, which sometimes then people don't realize, I'm just going to pop a Tums because I'm having an upset stomach or heartburn.
What?
It's from the caffeine.
Got it. Is Tums really, is that a myth? Does it slow down your metabolism?
It's not that it slows it down, but it does give you that relief from heartburn.
Okay.
But I will say some of the people I know when you're doing this Pure 21, they're now not taking the Tums like they used to because they're not having all this caffeine and all the other toxins in their system that aren't being broken down.
Well, that is really, really good news. Okay. All right. This is so interesting. All right. We talked about the morning coffee. What types of energy drinks should we avoid, or should we avoid them, period? Because I used to be the girl in college that would order the Red Bull vodka. What in the world was I thinking?
It's what we did back then.
I know. Why? What? I mean, the marketing was great on it.
It also is a sweeter taste, and I think we also were up for hours at a time, so it was not.
Now I feel like if I ever ordered a Red Bull now, I look around and make sure I don't know anyone because I know it's taboo.
Right, and
Sorry, Red Bull.
I don't think you think about the caffeine that's in there. You know, then it's just what you did, right?
Right.
It has those addictive personalities in it too. Like it has those stimulants. It has that stuff that could have that negative impact, right? So I think we also still have to make sure to avoid the energy drinks. They're not something you want to necessarily limit. They are things you want to avoid.
Yeah.
Large amounts of sugar, right? Contribute to weight gain, and that can also worsen diabetes.
I always see back to Instagram, I always see these people that are chugging these energy drinks right before they go work out. Like that's going to make their workout and their life so much better. Like why?
Because caffeine can help with a workout.
Yeah.
So that's why they go there, but an energy drink isn't necessarily the way to go. I'd rather you have that black coffee to get that effect that you're looking for
So
when it comes to
it'll work
exercise.
the same exact way without possibly hurting your amazing heart.
Correct.
Okay. If we're trying to just decrease our caffeine in general, say, we're past Pure 21, but we've learned that we can do the black coffee, maybe a little almond milk and stevia. We love tea now because we've gone through the program and we're done with soda. What are some tips to just decrease caffeine across the board?
I think one, knowing that the symptoms are going to go away after a few days. You have that there, right? I think a big thing is also cutting back gradually because we know what happens. We might do 21 days and then some of those bad habits come back pretty quickly. Obviously, that's why I want to educate more on that so we can avoid that. But knowing it's there, instead of grabbing, if you used to do 2 or 3 Mountain Dews a day, cut back.
Yep.
Do 1 or 2, right? And slowly cut back. Do a smaller can or do a smaller cup of coffee, right? So kind of still give yourself that.
I think Diet Coke was genius when they came out with those little tiny cans.
Yes.
That's enough.
Exactly. And then you're going to get a lot less caffeine, a lot less sugar, anything that's in there, right? Also try not to drink caffeine late in the day. have it in the morning, through mid-morning, right? So we can get our body used to having lower levels of caffeine in there.
Question. So if you ever have trouble sleeping, when would be a good time to just note no more caffeine after this time? Is there anything that you tell yourself?
I think for a lot of people, I would say if you can try and avoid past noon.
Okay.
And some people, though, can have it till 4 o'clock. Some people can have a cup of coffee and go straight to bed.
Yeah, I can. Because I used to work overnights at a news station. So caffeine doesn't, for me, it's placebo and I like it. I feel, you like the morning coffee.
You're addicted.
Yeah. I don't drink that much, but I could still have it at 9 and go to bed.
Right. And so it's one of those things that's a little bit of trial and error because it's going to affect everybody differently.
Yeah, my sister's completely opposite. She won't have it. She's a teacher. She will not have it after 3.
She won't go to bed.
Right.
And she's got to deal with everyone in the morning.
Yes. 8th graders. Amazing. Okay. Anything else that I'm missing about caffeine? These were amazing tips.
I think don't forget that there's decaf out there. There are options of things you can do with coffee, with tea, right? So you can have that. It's going to have a similar taste and it's going to look similar and you're still going to get that same effect just knowing it's not caffeinated.
Okay, really one last question. For the Pure 21ers that are in the challenge right now, they're listening to this, are there any other supplements? So almond milk, you said, stevia, anything else we could add a splash to that coffee and not go off the program?
I think you can go any of those oat milks, any of your other alternative, right? Because you're not doing that dairy.
Yep.
Again, don't forget about that whey protein. That is definitely, you can have, if you have vanilla or you have chocolate, it's going to good flavor to it.
Got
and
it.
also, not forgetting you can blend it and make it like your Frappuccino so you
I'm
give it a
doing
little more
that.
flavor.
That's one of the best ideas I've heard all day, doing it. All right, Melanie, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, your expertise. This was a great podcast on caffeine for Pure 21. Everybody, have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Stay caffeinated or uncaffeinated. Cut that out, Bob.